Hey, welcome back to the Feral North devlog. I've been working on new content, achievements, doggy dialogue, and whole new characters. Oh, and I quit my job to focus on finishing the game. Oh, I've been working on this game for over 3 years now, all in my spare time. It really is a passion project, my dream game, as we say on YouTube. And that's meant waking up between 5 and 6 a.m. most days to work on the game before starting my day job as a software developer. So work on the game in the morning, on my lunch breaks, all weekend, and occasionally after work as well. And honestly, I've loved it. I'm really not complaining, it's been great. But on the other hand, my day job got really stressful about 6 months ago. If I went back about a year and a half ago, I decided I needed to make a change. My whole career, I've worked at startups. It's an environment I really enjoy, but there's a lot of stress that kind of comes with that. As Feral North started getting serious, I decided I needed a bit more of a work-life balance. So for the first time in my career, I switched to working for a massive company. And this was really so I could just kind of like clock in from 9 to 5 and not have to think about it after that, kind of reduce stress and save my mental capacity to work on the game. But that didn't really work out. Big companies have big company politics, and for the first year, everything was fantastic. It was actually the perfect situation. But the last 6 months, things started getting a little bit crazy. Obviously, I can't go into the details. All I can say is that the last 6 months have been one of the most stressful of my career. Ultimately, it was time for a change, so I gave my notice and started the job search. The thing is, the thought of starting a new job right now and, putting in the effort to start off on a right foot and probably have to slow down on Feral North for a bit, for a month or two as I kind of adjust to the new job. The thought of this was just brutal. I've really been burning the candle at both ends for about 3 years now. I work on Feral North several hours a day. I've never taken a day off, literally in the 3 years I've been working on this game. This was just looking like it was going to be another setback and I'd have to push back the release date. Feral North's been a far more ambitious project than I realized when I started it, but it is getting close to completion. I'm honestly really proud of the game. It's been such a personal journey, and the story is shaping up so nicely, and honestly seems to be resonating with a group of people who are eager to play it. Besides, at my age, you turn 33 and you start to wonder how many devlogs you have left. So it's time to make a choice, and honestly, at the end of the day, I know when I look back on life, I'm not going to regret taking a little bit of time off my career to focus on a personal passion project. But I sure as heck will regret never taking that chance. So it just feels like if I don't do this now when it's kind of the timing is just right, when am I ever going to do it? It's really now or never. So I did it. I mean, I'd already given notice, but I stopped applying, I canceled interviews, and I committed. And honestly, I'm terrified, but I'm also really excited. Do I think this was the responsible or wise financial choice? No, of course not. There's a very high chance that right after Feral North comes out, I'll be out there looking for a new job. But the thing is, I won't consider that to be a failure, because Feral North was never about trying to score some big payday. There are much better genres of game for that. This game's personal, right? It means a lot to me, and I just want to be able to give it the attention it deserves as we move towards release. I'm very fortunate to be in a situation where I have some savings to fall back on. I have a partner who's 100% supportive no matter what, even when things are maybe scary or would impact her lifestyle. And I know not everyone has that, so I don't take it for granted. But I just feel like if I don't do this now, I'm probably never going to. So what does this mean for you and for the game? Well, hopefully it means more content headed your way. I've only made 4 YouTube videos this year, and that's really just because YouTube content is quite time consuming to make. And honestly, when I only have a few hours each day to work on Feral North, I'd rather work on the game than on YouTube videos. But now, hopefully with a little bit more breathing room, I can get you more frequent updates. For the game itself, it just means that I can focus entirely on making Feral North the best game it can be. Make it my dream game. I'm taking the time to add a lot of fun little content, things like achievements, so leave your achievement ideas down below. And more side content in the form of scaries, each of which has some fun little mechanic or storyline that just helps flesh out the world and the character backstories. These have also been a really nice way for me to take a little mental palate cleanser and kind of step away from the more serious main line for a bit. But of course, that also needs polish, so I am working on the main islands, all of which have been in place for some time now. The polish phase is always really tricky. You never know how long it's going to take because some things can be a little stubborn and just won't gel for one reason or another, until one day it suddenly snaps into place. I know for me, one of the bigger challenges was always going to be knowing when the game's complete, and I think that's going to be even more difficult to navigate now without a day job to fund development. It's interesting because you never really want to cut corners, but at the same time, games are never really perfect. There's always something to improve. So I'm trying to spread my attention and raise the bar across the whole game instead of narrowing in and spending way too long on any specific thing. My workflow is to play through a level, decide what stood out as the weakest part, improve it, and play again over and over until you feel like that level's in a good place and it's time to put some effort into another island. Over time, I'm finding this is a really good way to make significant progress to the game as a whole, rather than having one super polished level and nothing else, which is pretty much what I did for the first 2 years. But it's always tricky. There's a saying that art is never finished, only abandoned. And that saying couldn't be any more true of games. I imagine every dev on every game that's ever released probably still had a long list of improvements they wish they could have made. Obviously, I'm not going to just abandon Feral North. That's not what I'm saying at all. My point is just that I know there are some things I'd never in a million years be able to get to a level I'd be happy enough to release, so I'm really happy to have some help. And to that end, I recently brought on a new animator to help with my biggest weakness, and Herman has been working on a big cutscene that I couldn't have pulled off without him. With his animation expertise, we're able to bring the camera in much tighter, get deeper, more personal, and really bring the emotion up to a whole new level. Joe and I have really been hitting our stride with finding the voice for our main character, to the point where we might actually have to go back and re-record some old lines because things are just sounding so much better.
Don't worry, Chess. I'm not quitting on you. Just reminiscing is all.
And he recently hired Robert to bring his voice to a whole new set of characters who play a pretty interesting role in the game. I'm really excited to talk more about them in the future, but his delivery has been fantastic.
Trouble is, this island's well overgrazed. In another year or two, it'll be nothing but rock.
And of course, John, who's been composing the game for like 2 years now, has fantastic ideas for the score, and I can't wait to get that into the game. It just elevates everything when we get his music in. So we are headed towards the conclusion of this journey. The end is in sight. Feral North's starting to take its final shape. But there's a lot of really difficult work ahead, probably way more than I'm even expecting. But I'm so excited and fortunate to have the chance to focus on this and give it everything I've got, so that on release day I can look back and know that I did everything I could to make it the best game possible. So I hope you're as excited as I am to continue this journey and to see the game through to completion. Maybe give the video a like or leave a comment, even if it's just, cool story, bro. And hopefully the algorithm will show the video some love and we'll find some new people to follow on the remainder of this journey. Oh, and by the way, it's Gamescom week, so I just published a new version of the demo on Steam. I'd love for you to check it out and let me know how you find all the quality of life improvements, the graphics updates and content changes. The demo is much more reflective of the final state of the game now than it was in the past, so I hope you enjoy and I can't wait to hear your thoughts. Unfortunately, I can't attend this year, but my publisher Moon Eye will be there with the game, along with Smushy Come Home, Lost Ember, and Haven Park, so drop by and say hi if you can. I love you guys, and I really appreciate you following me on this journey so far, and, as we head towards the end, let's do this.